He tells us that in seconds, the brain creates a story about others, primarily for safety, which we call bias.
Interesting, right? Have you ever heard of the term class migrants? It's a fascinating, relatively new area of diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, it sure is, and it examines the challenges people face, mostly minorities, when they leave their zip code and go to a different socioeconomic stratus where they must live, work, or socialize and adjust to this new environment. Now, author Christopher C.J. Gross, in his new book, What is Your Zip Code Story? And during a recent TED Talk explains how your zip code can actually chart your destiny or even leave you sometimes sidelined from opportunities because of the bias of others. I chatted with Gross about this compelling topic.
And so when you move into an environment that's different, that you're not familiar with, your brain processes that as danger sometimes or discomfort. And so you will feel discomfort because you'll be disoriented. There will be things that you now have to figure out.
Like what, Trina? What are some of the things that you have to figure out?
Well, are you going to trust these new people you're around? Are you going to share all of you? Are you going to leave some of yourself behind that you want to hide? Say, like, if you came from a really poor family, some people hide that instead of letting that out if they end up working with a bunch of people from Harvard or something like that. So it really, really is fascinating. And so again, Gross says this can have a huge implication in the workplace to determine a person's career or even life successes or failures.
I believe that the class conversation is just as important because it is inclusive of race, sexual orientation. It's inclusive of all of the different identities and the things we talk about. However, what the conversation around class does, it allows us to get down to the equity component. The equity component is when we share resources. In order to share resources, you have to understand what is the language that we need to use in order to partner with one another to share those resources. And again, many of us, we even decide who we're going to be in relationship with from a business perspective and an intimate perspective based on class.
I found this so intriguing, and the book is just fascinating.
And I bet a lot of that is first having the conversation with yourself and being like, where am I now? Where was I? Where am I now? Where do I want to be? And who do I see in that circle? And once you figure out what you're okay with, you open yourself up to those new zip codes and everybody that comes along with it. That's great stuff, Trina.
Yeah, fascinating.